Welcome. Today, we are undertaking a deep dive into, well, the very blueprint of your future, the science of daily routine. Our mission is to really extract the most important insights, the actionable nuggets, to shortcut your path to being well-informed on intentional living. Because the statistics around what drives our day are, frankly, staggering.
They really are. It's the sheer scale of the unconscious mind at work that's so compelling.
Yeah.
I mean, there's research from Duke University that highlights a monumental 40% of your daily actions
Wow.
are driven purely by habits.
40%.
Think about that. Almost half your day operates on autopilot. It's
Mhm.
driven by pre-programmed behaviors, not active conscious decision-making.
So what you think about and do every single day, automatically, repeatedly, that eventually becomes who you are. It shapes your identity, your beliefs, and, ultimately your destiny.
Exactly.
We're looking at how these seemingly tiny, insignificant choices become the foundational framework for everything else. This is truly the story of habits, the silent architects of your life.
It's a profound influence, and it's so easy to overlook. But recognizing and intentionally harnessing this invisible force is the key. It allows you to move away from accidental living toward actively crafting the life you actually desire.
Okay, let's unpack this power. Let's start with the philosophy of action. I think John C. Maxwell laid it out perfectly. He said, "You'll never change your life until you change something you do daily." The real secret to success isn't some big, complex strategy. It's right there, in the mundane.
The difficulty, though, is the delayed consequence. That's why bad habits are so sticky. They offer instant gratification.
Right. The cooking now versus good health in 10 years.
Precisely. Whether it's poor eating, reckless spending, or just, that mindless social media scroll, it feels good now. But the detrimental effects, they're delayed. Sometimes it takes years for them to show up as a real problem, like debt or an illness.
And that's where the math really starts to make it real for me, the compounding effect. If you think about positive habits, it works exactly like compound interest or a systematic investment plan, a SSP. What happens if you just try to improve by 1% each day in any area, health, wealth, anything?
Well, it looks exponential. It's not linear at all. If you get 1% better daily for a year, you end up nearly 38 times better. It's that tiny daily shift that yields life-changing growth over time.
Mm.
But the flip side is also true.
That's the silent erosion.
Exactly. If you get 1% worse every day, you rapidly approach zero.
So things like procrastination, unhealthy choices, they compound into these huge obstacles that just silently dismantle your well-being.
Which is why Aristotle was so right when he said, good habits formed at youth make all the difference.
You're setting the trajectory for everything that follows.
Which brings us directly to our first big category, nurturing the body and mind.
Okay, let's talk about the indulgence cycle. Because so many of our worst health habits actually start with good intentions. Parents, friends, even ourselves. We use sugary treats, chocolates, fried foods as rewards.
They become associated with comfort, with accomplishment. And this cultivation establishes a really strong, persistent sugar craving. And the science on this is fascinating. Research suggests that added sugar activates similar brain reward pathways as certain addictive drugs.
So it's not just a lack of willpower.
Not at all. You are fighting a programmed reward system. And that often means a person gets to their 50s or 60s before a serious health issue finally forces a change they could have made decades earlier.
And modern life, especially in cities, just makes it harder, doesn't it?
It does. Working parents, time constraints, it all pushes people away from wholesome, home-cooked meals toward packaged or restaurant food.
And what about the late dinner trap? I see this everywhere.
Oh, it's a huge factor. It's a deeply ingrained pattern. You rush in the morning, maybe skip breakfast, you graze around 4 or 5 p.m.
And then have a huge meal at 9, 10, even midnight.
Right. And this just disrupts your digestion, your metabolic health, everything. It's a vicious cycle because that late dinner leads to poor sleep, and then poor sleep makes you crave quick energy the next day.
Which usually means more sugar.
Usually more sugar. And we see this extend beyond food, too. Things like exercise or even just consistent dental hygiene are often neglected until there's an emergency.
Real wake-up call.
Yes.
So knowing all that, what is the actionable framework? What do we need to do?
It really begins with nutrition, prioritizing whole, unprocessed foods. But just as crucial are the limits we set.
The limits are key. I mean, we have to strictly limit or even avoid added sugars, fried foods, processed meats, and refined carbs like maida.
And sodium. We always overlook sodium. Things like chips, pickles, and pop pad. Even a small serving can blow past your daily sodium limit.
Which raises the risk of hypertension
And
and...
a host of cardiovascular issues.
Yeah, and we have to talk about hydration. It sounds so simple.
It does, but it's critical. Aim for 8 to 10 cups of water, spaced out. Neglecting this has very real and very painful consequences. Kidney stones, UTIs.
So what about meal habits specifically?
2 golden rules. 1, never skip breakfast. It sets your metabolism for the day. 2, finish dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. And make it a light, balanced meal.
And then there's movement.
Yes, movement. The goal is 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise plus strength training a couple of times a week. And the big one for anyone at a desk.
Avoid sitting continuously.
Yes. Get up. Take short breaks every 90 minutes or so. Just stretch and move around.
Okay, so last piece on health. Mental well-being.
It's the capstone. We have to be intentional about reducing the noise, limit screen time, avoid excessive social media, and integrate something that reduces stress. Meditation, yoga, even just deep reading.
So we've seen health habits are often driven by these internal biological cravings. But if we shift to wealth, financial mistakes seem to be driven by a different kind of pressure.
They are. It's often about the need to impress others, to project a certain image. It's conspicuous consumption.
And that starts young, too.
Oh, absolutely. When parents give in to constant demands for the latest toys, they're teaching that instant gratification is the norm. So by the time they're teens, peer pressure drives this desire for status symbols, designer clothes, expensive cars.
Which sets a really precarious precedent. You end up with adults who just accumulate debt for the new phone, the new car, because they never learned the fundamental habit of living within their means.
They spend first and worry later.
So the strategy has to be to flip that script. What are the proven financial habits we need?
It starts with prioritizing needs over wants and really assessing the long-term value for money, not the short-term status boost. And yes, you absolutely have to create a budget and track your expenses and treat high-interest credit card debt like the financial emergency it is.
And bring back compounding. But this time for wealth building.
Exactly. Start saving and investing as early as you can. And automate it. Use SIPs, payroll deductions. Automation removes the friction.
And it forces you to adopt the golden rule.
The save first, spend later approach. You allocate money for savings the moment you get paid, before anything else. It guarantees you meet your goal.
Beyond saving, there's security.
The emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Get health insurance while you're healthy. Consider affordable term life insurance if people depend on you.
And maybe the hardest habit of all in our society.
Avoiding lifestyle inflation, for sure. When your income goes up, the temptation is to immediately upgrade everything. The crucial habit is to increase your savings rate faster than your expenses.
Okay, so if health is the physical and wealth is the fiscal, our last area is mastering the mindset, personal growth.
Right. And this goes beyond just health and finance into continuous learning, communication, leadership. And it really requires us to redefine success.
I love how Ernest Hemingway put it. He said, "There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow men. True nobility is being superior to your former self."
That is such a powerful shift. It's about self-comparison, not external competition. It removes all that envy and pressure.
And when things go wrong, as they do, there's that Lou Holtz quote, "Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it."
Your attitude decides your altitude. And choosing a positive, proactive response is absolutely a habit you can learn.
Let's talk about a specific learning habit. For students, for anyone absorbing new information, there's one that's a huge game changer.
The daily review habit. Yes. This means consistent daily revision of what you learned, plus a deeper reflection once a week.
Why is that daily review so much more powerful than, say, cramming for an exam?
It's all about how the brain retains information. Daily review uses spaced repetition to build strong, permanent neural pathways. Cramming is just forcing short-term memorization. Daily review builds genuine competence.
It's the 1% principle again, but for knowledge.
It is. And for productivity in general, it's about breaking large tasks down. But also, and this is crucial, limiting the noise.
Which means cutting back on social media.
And actively steering clear of gossip. The warning is simple. People who gossip with you will likely gossip about you. It's a habit that just drains energy and erodes trust.
So you have to nurture relationships by surrounding yourself with positive influencers.
People who are better than you in the areas you want to grow.
Exactly.
And what about resilience? That's a habit of the mind, right?
It is. Cultivate gratitude.
Hmm.
Make it a daily habit to jot down one positive thing. Learn to forgive, to ignore negativity. Holding on to anger is a habit that only harms the person holding it.
And at the core of all of this seems to be one thing: consistency.
It's the ultimate secret ingredient. Consistency surpasses talent, luck, good intentions, everything. It's just showing up every day.
Okay, so finally, self-awareness and communication.
Actively work on your communication skills. Learn new words. Practice active listening. And develop emotional intelligence. Recognize and manage your own emotions. Cultivate empathy.
And journaling seems to be a key tool here, a huge tool. Writing down your thoughts and feelings helps you analyze that 40% of automatic behavior we talked about. It lets you intentionally adjust your blueprint.
We've covered so much ground here, from the physical body to the financial ledger to the growth of the mind. And it all comes back to that core idea. Small, frequent changes create an inevitable future.
You know, the former president of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he summarized this entire deep dive perfectly. He said, "You cannot change your future, but you can change your habits. And surely your habits will change your future."
That philosophy aligns completely with this idea of getting 1% better every day. It's a reminder that self-development isn't one moment of revelation.
No, it's a lifelong journey of conscious choices. It's all about progress, not perfection.
So as you reflect on the blueprints you're building, we'll leave you with a final thought, sort of tying the financial lesson with the personal one.
We talked about adopting a save first, spend later mentality for your money. If you were to apply that same crucial principle to your time, which activity, whether it's learning or exercise or reflection, would you immediately allocate time to before letting the rest of the day consume it?
Think about that conscious choice. Thank you for joining this deep dive.